Hey guys, welcome to another Q&A segment on Home Truth Nigeria. It is episode 30. We've come a long way. So for those of you who are new in my channel, please try and watch the Q&A. This is a place where I answer questions people ask me on via email, on WhatsApp, or comments made in some of my videos. So without wasting much time, let us go there. A lady said, "Thank you for your advice. I've been in a relationship for a year and 6 months. He video calls me all the time, and lately he talked more with his family and introduced me to his friends. He has never asked me for money, but I have my doubt because I'm 45 years old and he's 30 years old. What advice would you give? I would appreciate it. Blessings." So this question was asked by a lovely lady. Although the question was asked in Spanish, because I'm bilingual, como estas? I had to translate it to English. Now, listen, guys. When I say be careful of Nigerian men you meet online or anywhere younger than you, and I haven't had kids, I don't say these things because I don't want you to be happy. The truth is, a Nigerian man, whether you meet him online or physical, who hasn't had kids and is younger than you, would always want to have kids, his biological kid. The truth is, when I point all of this out, I'm looking out for you. I don't want you guys to have or go through heartbreaks because I've seen hundreds of them. And a lot of you, when you go through this experience, you would generalize all Nigerians to be the same. The truth still is, an average Nigerian man wants to have kids. That's the truth. I've seen cases of guys who are with women who are older than them, but they make sure that these women can give them kid. And in the case of this lady, asking for money doesn't necessarily mean that, not asking for money, sorry, doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, this person is genuine. And asking for money also is not enough indication to say, okay, he's fake. So there are guys who could be on a tight position and they ask you for money. But if you come to discover that the relationship is all about asking for money, or you come to discover that this dude is not asking you for money, but maybe there's something else, like, marrying for visa and all of this, then you need to be very careful. So, in order not to have heartbreak and to cry or go into some emotional breakdown because it leads to that, I would always say, please, when you meet a Nigerian man who is younger than you, the first thing you don't want to do is to rush things. Try to pick the brain of this guy, see your position and his position. I've got kids. He doesn't have kids. I can't give him kids. I don't want to give I don't want to have children again. No matter what it tells you, like, oh, don't worry, IVF, adoption, surrogacy, those are all crap. It's just another way to pacify you. So please take your time, be honest to yourself, look at things on the long run, not now. Look into the future, and see if it's worth going into. I hope I answered your question. Another lady said, "So what if the trade-off works for older, younger couple? Each understands their role in life. Let them be. Times are changing." So this lady made this comment in one of the videos I made, indicating why a lot of women should avoid Nigerian men old enough to be their sons. And the truth is, we say charity begins at home. And a lot of people in the West seem to say, oh, times are changing, like stock exchange. Nigerian men are now going for women older. I mean, they are taking example from the president of France, what's his name? Emmanuel Macron, and all of this. But the bottom line still is, Nigerian men who haven't had kids would always want women younger as first choice. That's the truth. If you with a Nigerian man who's got kids, like he's got kids, two, three, even one, and he's older than you, and you're older than him 15, 20 years, I wouldn't even bother. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he just wants to live his life. But the truth is, a Nigerian man who hasn't had kids would want to have children. He would want to have his biological kids. He would want to. And if you cannot give him his biological kids, you would have problem. Again, I said charity begins at home. And I want you to tell me, like you said, times are changing. Tell me where one person in Nigeria that has actually gone ahead to marry a woman old enough to be his mother with so much huge age gap. I want you to point one. You see, these things, they rarely exist in Nigeria. So why is it only common with women in the West? I mean, if it's something that like, okay, it's a new trend and times are changing. And why don't we have this home? Charity begins at home, but we don't have it at home. So this is why I am pointing it. I am very much pointing it out. If you meet a Nigerian man who hasn't got kids, no matter how much his sweet talks you into the relationship, you can't give him kids. He's younger. You also look at his profile. He's struggling and he has sweet words. And like, okay, you want to go with this. Listen, it's a relationship that is doomed to fail. It's a relationship that is doomed to fail, because the truth is when that Nigerian man stands on his feet, he will leave you for a much younger lady. It happens every week. I don't want to say every day so it doesn't look like exaggeration, but it happens every week. And the truth is, a lot of these women who say times are changing, it's happening, a lot of them would come out and classify every Nigerian to be scammer and devil. There's a lady who dated a Nigerian on TikTok who is going around shouting, all Nigerians are devil, all Nigerians are scammers, because she dealt with one Nigerian and then she generalized it. And you see, when I say this, I'm trying to make sure that you don't fall or become a victim. That's just it. So a lady asked, how can I book a session with you? So, guys, if you want to and you wish to share your stories with me or ask questions because you are not sure about something happening in your relationship and you need answers on all of this, please, you can always write me on the email on your screen, hometruth86 at gmail.com. Or if you want to have it faster, quick chats, you can write me on this WhatsApp number on your screen. If I'm in the office, I will try my best to reply when I can. But for those of you who are in constant communication with me, you know that I do my best to reply. And hey, it is free of charge. Don't worry, you won't get billed. You're not going to pay any money. You can write me whenever you want, and it's totally free of charge. Okay, to the next question. I began speaking to a Nigerian man who is 50 and he was divorced 20 years ago. Things were going well, but suddenly he just starts to go quiet. I told him I won't call him again. I'm really upset, but the last thing I need is another man that isn't intentional, wasting my time. To women hearing me, if you're speaking to a Nigerian man and he starts to get quiet or cold on you, go deaf. And if possible, go into sub-zero mode. Return the same energy 5 times, especially when you know that this man, there's nothing wrong with him. He's not sick. Maybe when someone is sick, I mean, your person will not reach out to you because they're sick. But if you can establish the fact that okay, this person is okay, is not sick, return that energy. Do not make mistake going after him, by calling or texting because you want to add caring. If you do so, you will be passing a different message or signal to that man. And when a woman communicates desperation to a Nigerian man, it is a turn off. Desperation is a turn off to Nigerian men. We think sometimes that there is something wrong with you, that is why you are acting desperate. We feel like, okay, nobody wants you. So something is wrong with you. That's why you're acting desperate. So we become wary. We become like, okay, what could be the problem? So as women, I always tell you guys, try to maintain your steez, composure, act elegant, and all of this, and this would really help you because the more you try to go after him, especially when he's not calling you, like, hey, I'm checking on you, how are you doing? And then he reads it and then he texts you 5 hours later or after 24 hours, or he doesn't even call you. He calls you after 2 weeks and then he blames it on work. Come on, is he working in heaven? What is he? Is he a celestial being? It's a human being. So there's no message you would leave for him that he wouldn't find time to call you. At least he could call you before he eats, while he's going into the toilet, all of these things. So nobody is too busy not to reach out to somebody they have interest in, and that's the truth. So if he's not reaching out to you, don't pressure yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. The guy maybe doesn't have interest, but doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. So don't act desperate, okay? Okay, another question is, what if you're 13 years older than him? I guess she means, will it work out? Well, it can work out so long as you can give him kids, because Nigerian man will want kids. Now, giving him kids, or children, or a child, it builds a foundation in the relationship. And if the guy is very much honest with you, he would stay. He would stay because you guys have something that is connecting the both of you together. All you need to do, if you're older than a Nigerian man, is to take care of yourself first, physically. I say that to a lot of ladies: take care of yourself physically. The thing is, blacks age differently, they age slowly. Not to talk of a black man, a Nigerian man, he's going to age slowly. So if you're finding yourself 13 years older and you're a lady, biologically, you would start looking older than him. So you should do the maths. In 20 years, I am this. In 20 years, he is this. Do you think he may want to be around you in 20 years time? Do you think you may find you like, okay, I'm still young and fit, let me go look for a younger woman? You need to look into the future. You need to be foresighted. It's not about picking him now. These things also, you need to think into the future, and that's why you need to like make sure you take care of yourself physically. I once handled a case of a lady who was actually 11 years older than a Nigerian man. And the good thing was that they were able to have two kids together. But she came to me and she said that her Nigerian man wouldn't hang out with her, or take her to places where he goes to. And she felt like the Nigerian man was, cheating with another lady, and this lady said to me that, by the way, I'm 11 years older than him. I'm this age, but I don't look my age. And then she decided to send me a picture of herself to validate the fact that she doesn't look her age. And from the picture, I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, what kind of dressing like this? I was thinking, are you? Is this a dressing? Are you dressing up for a carnival? And then I proceeded to ask her, well, were you dressing up for a carnival? She said, no, that's my fashion statement. Then I told her, well, this explains why your Nigerian man doesn't want you anywhere around him, especially with friends, because you look like the poster girl for mad people. It's like you are the CEO, or you run an NGO for crazy people, for mad people. And maybe this is why your Nigerian man maybe doesn't want you around him. He might not be cheating with you, but you're just not representing. And maybe it's high time you talked to him, perhaps about your dressing. Maybe he has lost interest. He has just given up on it and just like, okay, do your thing, I do my thing, as long as you're not coming on my way. So perhaps you want to talk about it, because you can't be dressing like Elton John, you know, and then you go in with your partner and all of this. So it's very important to, if you're dating a younger Nigerian man, also try to, take care of yourself. If your Nigerian man likes you because of your chubby, maintain it. Okay. If he likes you because you're slim, try to maintain it. If he likes you because you're curvy, try to maintain it. Different strokes for different folks. One man's meat is another man's poison. So you don't know, whatever reason he likes your body type, try to maintain it, because there's a lot of catching up to do when you date a younger Nigerian man, especially when you go out to these African churches and you see these young African women as ushers and all of this looking at your man. And you know that, well, I can't compete. So it's important. So it's important to know uh, that age 13 years, it could work if he hasn't got kids and you guys you're open to having kids, but just take care of yourself. It is very, very important. Another lady asks, how do I make sure my Nigerian man is really divorced? He gave me a copy of it. I know it could be fake. So a lady asked this question, and it's a very important question, especially if you're dating a Nigerian man who is pushing that you guys get married. But you know he's been divorced. They told you, hey, look, I've been divorced. Now, it's important you make good investigation before you jump into that marriage. You know, handing you papers, divorce paper, is not even enough. I'm not saying he's lying, but at the same time, he might be lying. You know, he might be telling you like, "Oh, look, we're divorced. Look at papers. Look, divorce. Look, c'est fini. It's done. You know, it's done. You know." And then you're like, "Okay, yeah, this is a divorce. This is a divorce paper. Now we can get married." But you see, here's the thing: in Nigeria, there's a place called Oluwole. There's a place called Oluwole, or used to call Oluwole. This is an excerpt from an article. It says Oluwole was home to exact document of whatever nature. If you wanted to sell your father's house, you could come to Oluwole, get a forged certificate of debt, get a fake notarization, and voila. Or imagine that you wanted a glowing WIAC result, even though you were confirmed knucklehead. There was only one place to go make it happen. Oluwole was also the place to go. If, say, you gained access to a parsimonious parent check book and wanted a perfect imitation of the signature so you could enrich yourself at his or expense. What about obtaining, say, the blue British passport or even visa to any European country without necessarily following due process? The road leads to Oluwale. So Oluwale is famed to be a place in Nigeria where you can make any documents. You would hold a document in Oluwole and hold the original. You can't tell which is fake. You could Google it up. There's a place in Nigeria called Oluwole. I think the government closed it, but whatever reason, the people who could forge this document to look so authentic, they are somewhere still hanging, still in business. And this is why, if you want to verify that your partner is divorced, one thing you want to do is to get an attorney in Nigeria and visit the registry or the court where the certificate was issued. There you can confirm the genuineness of the certificate. And if everything is fine, it is up to you to, decide if you want to get married to that guy. The same thing, if you want to verify if your man has been married before, you can go there and make the verification, but you must get an attorney to help you look into it in Nigeria. Now, if you are with a Nigerian man who said he's married, but he did traditional marriage, there might not be papers to back it up. In fact, a lot of women are married to Nigerian men who did traditional marriages back home in Nigeria, and there are no papers to back it up in most cases. So, if you think perhaps you're suspecting it, that's why I always say pay a visit, go home, to see if there is one woman somewhere in his community or one chick who is married to him. It happens a lot. So you need to do your investigation, especially if you're meeting a Nigerian man who is in his late 30s, going into his 40s, and he's single. You need to do your investigation very, very well. A lady asks, I am talking with a Nigerian man who has 4 kids and is divorced. He has indicated interest in marrying me. Within 5 months of talking, can you please tell me what to watch out for? Well, if you're meeting a Nigerian man who's divorced with kids and is wanting to marry you, the first thing you need to know is if he's actually divorced. That's the first thing you need to know. Make sure he's divorced. And then, secondly, you need to know where the wife is. like, okay, where's your wife? You need to know, especially when they have kids. Another thing you want to find out is, okay, why is it with the kids? Because normally the children are allowed by law to stay with the mom until a certain age when they can decide if they want to be with the father or mom, except the mother is not fit enough to handle the children. So you want to get insight and information on these things. Now, once you get that, the next thing you want to do is to make sure that this man has space for you in his life. Hear me out. Space for you in his life. Now, look, some men with kids would want to get married with women so that this woman can come and perform the mother duty for the kids. Not necessarily that he's looking for a wife, but he just needs like a nanny with certificate. It happens. I'm not kidding. It happens. So, and one thing you need to understand that since he's got kids, his children would always come first. They would be his number one priority. But at the same time, you need to make sure that this dude has a place for you in his heart, that you are also a priority. You need to work this out before you jump. So that's what I can advise you. And that lady said, a lady asks, how do I know if my Nigerian man is cheating? Because I feel he's talking to other Nigerian women behind me. So, are you sure your Nigerian man is talking to other women behind you, or he's talking to his sister? Don't mind me. Well, to know if your Nigerian man is cheating is going to be very difficult, especially if you are a foreigner. I mean, an average Nigerian man is bilingual, can communicate in a lot of languages. So if you have a Nigerian man who is speaking in his native language to another woman over the phone and you're there, you wouldn't have a clue of what they're saying. So you could finish the call and you can ask him, "Oh, who is that?" And he'll tell you, "Oh, that's my sister." Oh, but you don't have a sister. Well, that's my ancestral sibling. You don't have anything to because you don't speak the language. So you could be with him and you discover that okay, nothing has changed in his attitude. He's still romantic, he's still loving, protecting, he provides, and yet he is talking with another woman. Now, I have seen some people even go as far as hiring private investigators, cloning his WhatsApp and other things. The truth still remains that you may get nothing out of it. Now, one way to get him is to look at for consistency in what he says, because the thing is, when you lie and you don't say the truth, you have to tell another lie to cover that lie. So you need to be smart to look at for consistency and pray that he is dumb enough to expose himself. The problem now is not about catching him, but rather it is up to you, to define what to do when you catch him. Because once you discover that he's cheating, a lot of them come to blame you that you're the reason why they are cheating. I remember a lady went out with a Nigerian fiance, and the dude, stopped to pay for fuel, and the phone of the guy rang, and when it rang, it was unknown call, and she picked it. She didn't say anything because immediately a lady was speaking fastly in the Nigerian man's language. So she brought out her phone, recorded the conversation, and she has a friend who is of the same tribe with a Nigerian man. So she met the friend, and the friend was reluctantly able to interpret what was happening, what the lady was saying, and she discovered that okay, that woman on phone was the wife. So she went ahead, confronted a Nigerian man. The Nigerian man increased his game, became more romantic, bought her things, and all of this. They eventually got married, and after a few years, the marriage ended. The guy went home, prepared papers for his family in Nigeria, and they came they came to the country where the lady is. Now, the moral of the story is that you can catch him cheating, or God could answer your prayer, and then he blows his cover. But the thing is, a lot of ladies will still go ahead and marry him in anticipation that okay, I forgive him, he has changed, and all of this, and at the end of the day, it may not work. I mean, to err is human, to forgive is divine, but you have to use sense as well. Anyway, guys, sorry it's a long video. Of course, it's expected the Q&A. So, as always, if you got questions, you can write me on hometruth86 at gmail.com. Guys, Like, share, subscribe. 100 Nigeria. Peace out.